And not very often do I get to theme the show, right? Really, I used to try to theme the show, pick an idea, talk about that idea, but what ended up happening was, different news stories would just happen, and then you don't necessarily have the luxury of theming certain things, right? Like that's just the way that this works. You just don't always have the luxury to do what it is that you are doing. So I backed off of that. I just did the stories as they came in, like a normal person. But today I am afforded the rare opportunity to have a theme for this show, because all the stories that I thought you would find interesting all have one theme, and that is the stupid narrative, which, if any of you have been following the news, sports, or otherwise, I think that you all are familiar with the concept of the stupid narrative, which is that the media latches onto an idea, and whether or not that idea makes any sense, whether or not that idea is founded in any particular kind of way, we latch onto it. We keep repeating the same information, regurgitating information that does not make any sense over and over and over again, simply because we in the media believe it to be true. And we all, I believe, try to some extent to reduce it, but no one is perfect at doing it, and thusly you end up with stupid narratives bouncing all over the place. One such stupid narrative is the one that I think is the most annoying to me personally. Since I have moved here, I have watched more SEC football in the last 5 to 6 years than I have watched in my entire combined life before I got here. And I have to say that it's been a thrill. I like watching SEC football, and it's been amazing watching a dominant SEC run. And it had a down year last year, right? Like the SEC had a down year. I don't think that is a stupid narrative at all. But this idea that because the SEC had a down year, it's the sign that they're going away and that all of these other conferences are on the rise, don't make any sense. The one that makes the least amount of sense to me is the Big Ten, that we are acting like the Big Ten is a better conference than the SEC. And when I say we, I mean the media, and specifically the national media, that the national media acts like the Big Ten is this conference head and shoulders above the SEC. And I was listening to Colin's show earlier, and I think that Colin is probably the biggest example of Big Ten bias in the national media, which is to say that he ranked all of the coaches, right? Like he wanted to talk about which programs were better, and then did the least logical thing. Instead of ranking the programs as they are now, he ranked the coaches instead. And what I think is interesting about him choosing to rank the coaches instead is that he didn't even rank them correctly. On his list in the top 10, Brett Bielema and Kevin Sumlin made the list. And look, I am not a guy that's anti-Brett Bielema. I like Brett Bielema, but Brett Bielema has not gotten the job done at Arkansas. And the hope is that the level of stability and consistency that he brings to that program will eventually allow them to have a chance to strike at some kind of run. That's all you've got. And we're not even going to talk about Kevin Sumlin, who's been exposed over and over and over again as being a coach that has no idea what it is that he's doing. Kevin Sumlin has had a reputation as a quarterback whisperer, which, by the way, is one of the more cliche things that I think we bandy about now when we talk about head coaches. When really, Kevin Sumlin is really good at recruiting quarterbacks. He gets good quarterbacks. But the thing is, he gets good quarterbacks and then doesn't win with them, right? Which is hugely important, I would think, if you are going to highly rank a head coach. I don't think Kevin Sumlin, if you combine the Big Ten and the SEC, Kevin Sumlin shouldn't sniff the top 10. He shouldn't, right? Put Kevin Sumlin in any other organization, and what do you have, right? It's got a trademark. When a guy has a trademark, believe the trademark. When someone has a trademark, believe the trademark. Here's Kevin Sumlin's trademark. Kevin Sumlin's trademark is, I recruit a really good quarterback. I ride that quarterback to an alarming number of victories in the first half of the season. We fall apart in the second half of the season. And it's happened over and over and over again. And it doesn't matter if his quarterback is Johnny Manziel putting up monster numbers. It doesn't matter if his quarterback is Trevor Knight, who led his offense pretty well. And that we can't imagine, by the way, that this upcoming season, where it's likely that they will start Kellen Mond, that's actually going to improve, right? There's no reason to believe that Kevin Sumlin, if you combined the Big Ten and the SEC, is even anywhere near a top 10 list. And I didn't end up listening to the rest of Colin's list because I found that ranking to be so already alarmingly atrocious, right? And then we all know that Nick Saban's going to wind up at the top of the list, right? Urban Meyer's probably going to be number 2. Very highly ranked is probably James Franklin and Penn State. But to me, if you want to know which conference is better, don't rank the coaches. That doesn't make any sense. That's like going, you want to know which nation is better? Let's rank the leaders. Let's rank the presidents. No, we look at other things. We look at your GDP. We look at your economy. We look at your military. We look at the actual power that you have right now. That's how we rank things, based on your actual ability to put out anything, your output. That's how we rank stuff. We don't rank stuff based on, well, we like your leader, so okay, that's one facet in a giant list of things to consider. So I just think that that's nonsensical. But you're having to twist yourself into pretzels, essentially, to explain how it is that the Big Ten is better than the SEC, which it's not. Because here is really how you define the SEC. Here's how you define the SEC. The SEC is a one-team conference with 2 teams that are really close. All right? And they're all in the SEC West. The SEC is Alabama, with, I believe, Auburn and LSU being really close. All in the West, right? The East is a weaker conference, and no matter what happens in the East, I don't think anybody believes that any of those teams are going to be beating a West team in an SEC title game. I don't think so. So how do you define the Big Ten? Is the Big Ten better than the SEC? Is the Big Ten loftier than the SEC? I went out and did some Big Ten research. I was looking up some stuff on the Big Ten, just listening to some college football previews and reading some college football previews. I read the Athlons and the SEC Media Guide and anything I can get my hands on. And I was following the Big Ten specifically. And here's what I found. Here's what I found with this. That the Big Ten is slightly inversed of the SEC. The Big Ten is 2 teams with 1 team that's close. And they're all in the same division. That Eastern division of the Big Ten. Penn State and Ohio State are the 2 teams in the Big Ten that matter. The team that's close, Michigan. Michigan this year is going to be in a downward cycle. I cannot rank Michigan as a school that matters this year. They're not going to win the Big Ten. They're not going to win the Big Ten championship. I don't see a reason to include Michigan in any of this. Yeah, you could say Harbaugh's a premier coach, but he doesn't have a quarterback. His defense has lost a lot of pieces. He's going to have to rebuild just a little bit here. So when I'm looking at the University of Michigan, I go, okay, well, what do I know? I know that they're close. And I feel about Michigan the same way that I feel about Auburn and the same way that I feel about LSU. They're missing a few pieces. I think they'll all be much better next season, but they're really close this season. That's how I feel about Michigan in the Big Ten, right? The schools that can actually do something this year, Ohio State, JT Barrett is going to return to form, I believe. And Urban Meyer is one of the top 2 coaches in America. Nick Saban's 1. Guess where Urban is? So I don't think that you're very far off when you say maybe the Big Ten might have some very quality teams. Ohio State and Penn State. James Franklin showed all of that potential last year with Penn State. Penn State was able to go on a run. Many people believe that they should have won the Big Ten last year. They had a memorable Rose Bowl against USC. It was incredible. So look, you've got 2 teams that are premier teams, could be in the college football playoff, could be competing for a title this season. But that's it. There's nobody else in the Big Ten that comes anywhere near close, right? Because in the rest of that division is Indiana, Maryland, Michigan, Michigan State, and Rutgers. And as I mentioned, Michigan is close but no cigar. Then you go to the West, and the West is worse. The Big Ten West might be worse than the SEC East. The SEC East at least has Jim McElwain, who year in and year out wins that division and, quite frankly, has been nothing but a stellar coach minus a quarterback who can win him football games. That's basically been Jim McElwain's MO. And say whatever it is that you want to say about Kirby Smart and how he still needs to grow and develop as a coach, being in his 2nd year as a head coach ever. But Georgia is super talented, very loaded, especially on the offensive side of the ball, and they've got a quarterback who I think can make the leap. I really believe in Jacob Eason, and Tennessee's a dark horse, and Kentucky's a dark horse. So the SEC East might be the weaker division in the SEC, but it is by no means a division bereft of talent or teams with winning potential. When I look at the Big Ten West, though, I see Illinois, who I don't believe in at all. I see Iowa, who I don't really believe in at all. I see Minnesota, Lovie Smith. Look, the pantry is bare when it comes to talent at Minnesota. I like Lovie Smith a lot. I just don't think Minnesota's going anywhere. Nebraska, no. Northwestern is good for a intellectual school. Northwestern is good for a school where it's hard to get recruits because it's hard to get people who have grades high enough to get into Northwestern. But Northwestern's not actually good. Okay, don't deceive yourself into believing that Northwestern is actually good, because this is what happens. I saw the rankings, right? That the Northwestern, their head coach, he ended up being ranked on Colin's list because he's winning in a place where it's hard to win. And you do get credit for winning in a place where it's hard to win. But if I'm telling you which conference has the greater quality, then I'm going to count the fact that it's hard to win at your school and say, hey, you know what? You can't possibly be ranked very highly on this list. Purdue and Wisconsin. And Wisconsin, who to me is like the Florida of the Big Ten. They are a very good team in the obviously weaker division. I like Wisconsin a lot. I liked Wisconsin last year, and I did not expect the LSU beating them to happen. But I liked Wisconsin last year. I like them this year. I think Paul Chryst is a really good coach. But I would put Wisconsin below Michigan. Like, what we're talking about when we talk about the Big Ten and we talk about the SEC are two conferences that are very, very similar. I think that the Pac-12 has the higher quality schools. I think the ACC has some higher quality schools. I think everybody's bigger than the Big 12. When I look at the Big Ten and I look at the SEC, this idea that there's somehow this gap generating itself between the Big Ten and the SEC is insane. And it's a very stupid narrative that we somehow keep perpetuating, even though it makes absolutely no sense. Clutch with Keon Rose on AM 1240 and 92.7 FM. So here's a narrative that's starting that I'd like to squash instantly. Deshaun Watson should be the starter of the Houston Texans. I want that one gone. I already want it gone. And I say this as a guy that when I looked at all the quarterbacks in this draft, this past NFL draft, I looked at all the quarterbacks in this past NFL draft. I saw Deshaun Watson, and I said, that guy is the only guy that I feel like you can guarantee has got star potential in this whole draft. You're taking a very high risk on a Mitchell Trubisky. You're taking a very high risk on any of these other guys. I really, really believe in Deshaun Watson, and I think that he has, again, the cliched words that we like to toss around, but the intangibles. I think that I like his leadership qualities. I like his mind, the mental aspect of the game, that he is able to understand and digest offenses, if you're to believe what the coaches are saying out of Houston. And so I like Deshaun Watson a lot. And he played in a preseason game yesterday, and everybody loved him in said preseason game. I watched the highlights of the preseason game, right? The NFL posted a video of every Deshaun Watson snap of the preseason game, even the missed throws, even the miscues, even the missed mistakes. So I feel pretty good about not having watched that preseason game, because there's no way on earth you're going to get me to sit down and watch preseason on a Wednesday night. Oh, preseason week 1? No. I might pay attention to the preseason a little bit when it concerns my team. I'm not paying any attention to the preseason regarding anybody in week 1. That is insane to me. No, thank you. I didn't even really know there was a preseason game last night. I was just checking on Twitter, and then people were like, oh, wow, Deshaun Watson looks really good. Came out with the 2s in the second quarter. And he did look very good. Looked very promising. I think he's got a stronger arm than Tom Savage. I think he's more accurate than Savage, too. Could probably clean up the footwork a little bit, but he's very fast. The speed is still there. But he's still looking to throw from the pocket, keeping his eyes downfield, extending plays with his feet, doing all the things that you thought he would do when he got drafted, right? And he seems to have picked up the offense quickly enough that he's not making bad throws and looking like he's entirely out of sorts, which is something that we saw from Jared Goff a year ago, where Jared Goff just wasn't picking up the Rams offense very quickly. And he looked out of sorts and he looked discombobulated and he looked probably worse than he actually is because he's coming out of an even more simple offense than most guys come out of. Look really, really good. But let's quash the ideas that Deshaun Watson did everything yesterday to prove that he should have been the starter. He played with the twos, okay? He played with the second stringers, and he looked good, but it's preseason, okay? He played with the second stringers. He played against second stringers, and no one is giving you their most complex defense in the preseason. This does not prove anything about Deshaun Watson. Now, it's a good indicator, and we were talking about this a little bit yesterday when you talk about NBA Summer League, when you talk about scrimmages and practices. If you look bad in a scrimmage or a practice, we get worried. We get concerned. If Deshaun Watson had looked bad in that preseason game, there would have been signs for concern. But that wouldn't have proven anything, too. None of this stuff proves anything. All of these things are simply indicators. I think that the Texans should proceed as planned. Start Tom Savage, okay? Let Deshaun Watson digest this offense, get to learn it more, become more familiar with it, become more familiar with playing under center, which is a transition that everybody struggles with if you don't originally play under center. You've got to get all of these things going. And so I don't want people to start rushing the Deshaun Watson thing and then going, well, it worked for Dak Prescott last year, so we're fine. I think we should be the starter. No, he shouldn't be the starter. He should still try to earn his way up to the top. And one preseason game is not earning your way up to the top. I'm sorry. And again, I like Deshaun Watson. I'm not being critical of him. I'm not being critical of Coach Bill O'Brien. I'm not even being critical of the fans necessarily who believe that Deshaun Watson ought to be a starter right away. But I saw nothing last night that indicated that this dude is a starter. I saw a lot of things last night that indicated that he's going to be very good. Deshaun Watson's going to be all right. That's what I saw last night. I saw a guy who missed some throws, overthrew some guys, so that's going to have to be fixed. I think probably part of that was a little bit of nerves because he did throw more accurately as he settled down. He did have some receivers, by the way, that need to get their head around and actually look back at the ball. So there were some missed throws that were not his fault. And the 3rd and goal from the 8-yard line or whatever it was where he ran the touchdown in that looked exactly like the touchdown that he ran in against Alabama. Yeah, that was pretty cool. That was pretty cool. I was very thrilled by that. He's so fast. Dude has got wheels. But let me tell you something, though. That doesn't prove that he ought to be the starter. I saw 2 articles today saying that last night's performance from Deshaun Watson proved that he ought to be the starter. And this is the problem, by the way, with people who succeed and excel, right? The problem with Dak Prescott is that now everybody's looking for the next Dak Prescott. Not that Deshaun Watson is the next Dak Prescott because he's drafted in the first round, but we are looking for somebody who comes in, understands the offense, has got a little bit of mobility. Like Deshaun Watson's playing style comes off very Dak Prescott-ish on TV. Right? Like that is something that is to be noted. And so when people see that, they go, oh, well, Dak Prescott came out. He was going with the threes. He wasn't even going with the twos. He was going with the threes. So if Dak can start, so can Deshaun. But you know what? Bill O'Brien's offense is more complicated. It's just a very complicated offense. I say let the rookie get as much under his belt as he can before you start him. Redshirt him this year. Don't play him instantly. Don't try and get him out there in mere seconds. And don't crown him the starter after one preseason game. He played in the 2nd and 3rd quarter, and then he was done. Let's pump the brakes on this, shall we? Can we back off of that, please? Now, there's another narrative that came out of that game that annoys me very much. It also annoys Greg Olsen, the tight end of the Carolina Panthers. So we're going to get into that narrative a little bit because that's one that's been around for a very long time. Plus, I think people get it twisted on what it is that annoys folks about Tim Tebow. Because I'm a person who is generally annoyed by Tim Tebow. But, and I will point this out again and again and again, it's not Tim Tebow's fault that I am annoyed by Tim Tebow. there's a group of people around Tim Tebow that are annoying. I'll tell you who those people are in a second. You're listening to Clutch with Keon Rose on AM 1240 and 92.7 FM.
The Tennessee Valley's news, talk, and sports leader. Nooga Radio, AM 1240 and 92.7 FM.
3, 2, 1.
Chattanooga Radio, AM 1240 and 92.7 FM's news now.
Chattanooga cops say they found a bullet-riddled body on Lightfoot Mill Road. They say it belonged to Deontay James, who they claim is a validated gang member. The Violent Crimes Bureau now trying to find out if the shooting was gang-related or not. A grisly discovery behind the former rave theater. A 21-year-old woman was found hanged to death in an apparent suicide. Family members say that the unnamed woman was suicidal after a breakup with her husband. The Chattanooga Police Department has confirmed that an officer was arrested on DUI charges, apparently blowing an 0.144 blood alcohol level in a breathalyzer test. He's been put on paid administrative leave. Michael Allen Trumbo, who's 28. In Walker County, the debt situation is so bad that the deficit is $7.5 million. County Commissioner Shannon Whitfield is holding special meetings to talk to the public about the problem. Russell Stroud, Nooga Radio News, now.
In-depth traffic, news, and information. Mornings on Nooga Radio, AM 1240 and 92.7 FM.
Any spotty showers will diminish through your nighttime. Still lots of clouds and some patchy fog developing overnight. Lows 70 to 72. Now for your Friday and Saturday, a few isolated mainly afternoon showers and storms popping up. A little warmer highs mid and upper 80s. McBriar Realty is now Real Living Southern Realty, serving the entire tri-state area. Find your dream home now with Real Living Southern Realty. For their complete listings and more, rlsouthernrealty.com. And I'm Storm Team 12 Chief Meteorologist Patrick Core on Nooga Radio AM 1240 and 92.7 FM.
Hi, this is Eric Pelton. Taxes, accounting, business advice. I've got a neat brochure, 12 ways to improve your business profits. Come on by for a free consultation and we'll give you a copy. EJ Pelton Company, 332-3339.
I have the best steak selection in town. Name of the business is Don's Meat Shop, and I'm Donnie Raines. Just ask for Donnie. I make over 20 different types of sausages. Most of them are great for grilling. We have the best selection, best quality. We have the hard-to-find items. Don's Meat Shop.
Hi, I'm David Crockett, and I'm here with David Tulis, and we're having a little discussion over who's the number one Nooga centrist. If you want to keep up with free market ideas, then read Nooganomics.com. David Tulis, the blogger with the biggest pen.
The Tennessee Valley's news, talk, and sports leader. Nooga Radio, AM 1240 and 92.7 FM.
Watch with Keon Rose on AM 1240 and 92.7 FM. Here's a narrative for you. If Superman takes off his glasses, you wouldn't be able to recognize him. You wouldn't. I was watching over the weekend, or over the week, and Steven Adams of the Oklahoma City Thunder shaved off his mustache. And yeah, that looks like a different guy. And that's just a mustache. That's just, there was a mustache, now there's not a mustache. It looks like a different guy. So why can't the guy wearing giant glasses not look like a different guy? I call fake news on that narrative. You're listening to Clutch with Keon Rose on AM 1240, 92.7 FM. Our phone number is 423-800-8949, 423-800-8949, knuckleheads. And one narrative that bothers me all the time is Cam Newton. Cam Newton is a very controversial guy. I think in large part because of Cam Newton's attitude. I think in small part because of Cam Newton's race. And when you combine the two of those things, you have a situation where you have a guy that's wonderfully divisive. And then you have the other elements of it, which is like, is Cam Newton actually a good quarterback? Because Cam Newton doesn't play quarterback in the way that people typically play quarterback. And you add more and more of these elements to Cam, and you get a guy where you either love Cam or you hate Cam. There really tends not to be a whole lot of in between in the middle there. I do think that Cam is incredibly talented. He has taken a team to a Super Bowl, so I feel like there's a level of respect that we need to give him on that, right? Because the offense was designed around him, based on him, geared towards him, and that team went 15-1 in the regular season and went to a Super Bowl where they played one of the all-time defenses and just got beaten up. And that's really all it was. That's really all it was. But Cam does have an attitude that lends itself to people questioning whether or not Cam Newton is a leader, right? But to me, that seems horribly unfair. I think Cam is a victim of his own persona, that he is sometimes so brash and so loud and so arrogant that it comes off as unlikable. Now, to me, I'm not here to question whether or not Cam's likable, nor do I actually care. I just don't care. Cam's likable, not likable. I like to watch him play football on Sundays because he's really good at playing football. That's about the extent of me needing to like a dude, really. But when it comes down to whether or not he's a good leader, I think people transfer whether or not they like Cam into whether or not Cam is a good leader. Because I've seen this happen in sports again and again, where there was a stretch of time where Kobe Bryant was not a very likable person, and he wasn't winning a whole lot of basketball games, and he was scoring a lot of points, and people questioned whether or not Kobe Bryant was a leader. You know, 2 MVPs or 1 MVP and 5 rings later, and suddenly we look back at Kobe, and Kobe was a great leader, right? Michael Jordan was a jerk. Michael Jordan is a guy that once punched one of his own teammates in the face in a practice. But Michael Jordan's got 6 rings. We don't question whether or not Mike was a good leader. He won lots. How could he not be? And we do this over and over and over again with guys where we give people a pardon based on winning. And if at any point they ever struggle and we don't like them, then and only then can we question their leadership. Because I remember we questioned Cam's leadership his entire career. I remember that Super Bowl season and people were saying, well, Cam's matured. Cam's grown up. And his leadership was not questioned that season, right? When they were 12-0, 13-0, 14-0, his leadership wasn't questioned then. Leadership was not up for debate then, I noticed. Then they struggled the following year, and we're back to, well, is he a good leader? We're not sure. What do you mean you're not sure? There's something about a championship that magically fixes guys. Eli Manning constantly looks like a fish out of water, and I mean literally like a fish. His mouth is just open. He's not very emotional. He's not very emphatic. I wouldn't describe Eli Manning as a leader of men, but he's got 2 Super Bowls, so he must be a good leader, right? Like, we don't question whether or not guys who have won titles are good leaders, even if they may not necessarily be the guys stirring the drink on their own team. And when you look at Eli Manning and his offense and his numbers throughout his career, Eli Manning is not the best player on his own team. He's not the most valuable part of his own team. Either he's had a running game or a defense when he's won titles, but we don't question the leadership ability of Eli Manning, which is crazy. Cam Newton is a victim of his own personality, which is one that is particularly easy to dislike. And then you add that to the fact that he hasn't won a title, because I think if Cam did win that Super Bowl, you'd still say, well, he's just got his own style. But he didn't win the title, so he must not be a good leader, which doesn't make any sense. Now, I did some research because there are different kinds of leadership styles, and I just wanted to know what kind of styles that there were. And there's 12 types, and I'm on wisetoast.com if you want to look it up, but there's 12 types of leadership styles. And I'm not going to go through all of them, but there are some of them that pop up in the NFL that do look familiar, right? One type of leader is the autocratic leader. The autocratic leader is a guy that the entire system is centered around him. He has all the authority. He's got all the responsibility. He makes decisions. He doesn't have to consult anybody. He just gets to operate. People around him don't necessarily have a whole lot of flexibility, but he's able to be consistent, to set guidelines, and allow people to work underneath him safely. Well, that's Tom Brady. Tom Brady is your typical autocratic leader. And I think when we look at NFL quarterback, that's the kind of leader that we prefer, right? Just the guy that shows up and runs stuff. The problem with that is, of course, that we have different types of people. So not everybody can be the same kind of leader. Different locker rooms work very differently. Tom Brady is the autocratic leader. Meanwhile, there's a form of leadership called the democratic leadership. In this leadership style, people are able to make decisions together. There's a lot of input from everybody all over the place. And then that leader is able to take final responsibility for what happens by putting it all together, but he's not the one making all the decisions, right? You have to be creative. You have to be smart. You have to be honest to do this. Russell Wilson is a democratic leader. That offense, that team in Seattle, everybody's got a voice. Everybody has an ability to say something. So there are different kinds of leaders around the league, and I think that there are lots of kinds of leaders that we generally like. But you know what kind of leader we generally do not like? The charismatic leader. Because the charismatic leader gets everybody to work for him. The charismatic leader gets everybody to rally around him because of him, right? Like the autocratic leader is in a system that dictates that he's the leader, right? Bill Belichick gives Tom Brady the power to be the leader. And Tom Brady's track record suggests that he ought to be the leader. In the democratic style of leadership, Pete Carroll gives Russell Wilson the ability to be the leader. And the title suggests that Russell Wilson ought to be the leader. With the charismatic style of leadership, the leader just has it, right? It's just an it factor. And it can change how people believe. It can change what people value around him. And the difference between a charismatic leader from a person who's simply a populist is that there's no ideal. The charismatic leader is literally just saying, I'm the boss, follow me. And because of who the guy is, you just want to. And that's Cam. People who play for Cam love playing for Cam. They change their styles, they change their beliefs, and they follow Cam because he's Cam. That's it. Now, when you combine that leadership style with the fact that Cam has got way too much swagger, that Cam loves to talk, Cam loves the limelight, that he is arrogant and he is cocky and he is not trying to pretend to be humble in any particular kind of way. And what do you have? You have a guy who you have to question whether or not he's a leader. You have to question whether or not he's a leader because he doesn't have the hardware that to you proves that he's a leader. You have to question whether or not he's a leader because he's not leading in a style that people typically lead in, right? The charismatic leader, there aren't but so many people who can even pull that off in this whole league, right? Like go down the list of guys who are followed in the NFL simply because of who they are. Yeah, there's none of them. It's Cam. The list is a very short list. It's Cam, right? I think you could toss Jameis Winston in there. I think Jameis is another one of those guys. Like when I hear Jameis talk to his teammates and stuff, just whenever he's mic'd up and things, you get this sense that the guy has this larger than life personality. And I'm looking forward, by the way, to seeing him on Hard Knocks. I'm very excited about seeing that side of Jameis Winston, the guy that people are going to follow just because he's Jameis. Like there doesn't have to be a good reason to follow him. He hasn't, given anybody a goal and said, look, if you want to achieve this, follow me. He's not saying that, look, this is our system, follow the system. He's not saying everybody's got a little bit of input here. He's saying, follow me because I'm Jameis. Right? Now, I think that Jameis Winston has, first off, not had the level of exposure that Cam has had, but secondly, exhibited some degree of humility that Cam has not even begun to try to exhibit, nor should he have to, by the way. But I think that it leads to this false narrative that Cam Newton is not a good leader when he clearly has a leadership style. Yes, when someone has a distinct leadership style, you do have to find them coworkers that match their style. Some people don't work well with the charismatic leader. Some people don't work well with the autocratic leader, right? Like there are people that don't work well with Tom Brady. They're not in New England anymore, right? Like even if you wanted to work with Tom Brady because you're like, I love the success of this team, if you don't fit in with the Patriot way, you're gone. And Cam Newton's teammates act like Cam. It's crazy. Watch them on Sundays. People score touchdowns. They do the same celebration that Cam does. They find the kid with the ball, and they give the young Panthers fan the ball. Like, people don't do that on every team. They do that on his team, and they do it on his team because he's Cam. Right? Like, with the thing with people who are loud and braggadocious, or even just generally extroverted, I think we punish those people for a lack of discipline, whether or not it's true, right? And Cameron's incredibly extroverted, incredibly outgoing. And you punish him for a lack of discipline, whether or not it makes any sense to punish him for a lack of discipline, right? Who is it that you usually think when you see kids as being mature, right? Like you see a 6 or 7 years old, 7-year-old, the kid that's able to sit down quietly, you know, just color, draw, do whatever it is that they do. That's the kid that you usually think, wow, he's so mature. That kid might not be mature. That kid might be thinking about cartoons all day, just nonstop, but he's quiet. So everyone goes, he's so smart. The kid that wants to make jokes, the kid that wants to get his classmates laughing, you might treat that kid like they're undisciplined, when simply they're more extroverted. I mean, there's a punishment that comes with being extroverted. I think we're punishing Cam for being extroverted. I think we're punishing Cam for not being humble. I think we're punishing the guy for being loud. But that's who he is. And there's a leadership style that would appear to exist. I just think it's weird. Like, it's such a weird narrative. Like, here's what it is, right? Booger McFarland said that he's heard from people in Charlotte that Cam isn't a leader in the locker room. And it's just like, well, his entire career has been that rumor. And what do you define as a leader? Because if everybody in the locker room believes what that guy believes, values what that guy values, acts like that guy, simply because he's that guy, would you not qualify that as being a leader? What makes someone a leader then, if not that? If a leader can get you to believe in what he believes in, do what he does, and value what he values, what is that if not being a leader? I mean, it's just so crazy to me. The entire concept. Clutch with Keon Rose on AM 1240 and 92.7 FM. My brother will be joining us in the second half of this show and he is the counter to me. My brother is the counter to me, which is that I'm a boxing fan. I grew up a boxing guy. And when MMA came out, I remember going, I'm a stuck-up boxing traditionalist. And so I just stayed watching boxing, and this entire sport blew up and exploded underneath my nose. And next thing you know, I had to start watching UFC fights in order to stay on top of what was important in the sporting world. My brother hopped on board MMA pretty much early on, and he was watching, Bellator and Strikeforce and all the other ones too. So I want to know his opinion on this Floyd Mayweather, Conor McGregor sham that's happening on Showtime. But I'm curious to see where that's going to go. But before we get to that, the Browns are trying to sell us on Brock Lobster. They are. I saw a hype video that came out. The Browns are trying to sell us on the fact that Brock Osweiler might be a good quarterback for them. And maybe he is. But I'm starting to lose faith in the term quarterback whisperer. Because we throw it around way too much. There's a guy, he's got a track record with some quarterbacks that might be good, might be solid. And we say, this guy's a quarterback whisperer. We're saying that about Tom Herman at Texas. We're saying that about, we said that about Jay Gruden. We said that about Hugh Jackson, in Cleveland, is the latest example of a guy that we have said he is a quarterback whisperer. And to be fair, he did get a lot out of his quarterbacks last year, more out of his quarterbacks last year than I imagined he would ever get. But this idea that a guy can show up and fix a quarterback who is bad, who has been playing with bad mechanics or playing with a bad mindset or playing with a lack of understanding as to how defenses work, that just the one coach is going to show up and fix all that, even though this has been a problem probably this guy's entire life. The idea that someone is a quarterback whisperer, that he shows up and he fixes your quarterback, is insane. And I'm starting to believe it to be something of a myth, right? Maybe a guy is just good at finding quarterbacks and putting them in a system in which they can succeed, or finding quarterbacks that succeed in his system. Because I feel like that's more likely, that makes more sense, and that is easier to do. Kevin Sumlin forever was considered a quarterback whisperer up until that moment where he couldn't get his quarterbacks to compete in the second halves of seasons. And that's when you realized, oh yeah, that's not a thing. The quarterback whisperer is not a thing. The guy that shows up and fixes your quarterback is probably just the guy that has a system that is more suited for your quarterback than the last guy, which is why I look at Matt Canada and I say Matt Canada is going to be a really good offensive coordinator down in LSU. But Matt Canada is not a quarterback whisperer. And I think that he's getting credit for being a quarterback whisperer. But if LSU comes out and Danny Etling plays really, really well, better than any of us expect, and LSU looks really good, and he's not struggling, and he looks more than just a game manager. He looks like a guy that can actually go out there and win football games for you. We're going to go ahead and give Matt Canada, we're going to double down on his reputation of being a guy that is a quarterback whisperer, when being a quarterback whisperer is not a thing. Matt Canada is probably just really good at coaching offense. How about that? I think that is probably worth noting. The dude's probably just really good at coaching offense. Because who has consistently fixed quarterbacks time after time after time? It hasn't been someone, right? Remember when Jay Gruden went to the Redskins and dude was supposed to fix RG3, and then he didn't fix RG3? I thought he was the quarterback whisperer. There's no such thing. Right? Kyle Shanahan's supposed to be the quarterback whisperer. But I guarantee you, Kyle Shanahan in San Francisco isn't going to whisper any sense into any of the quarterbacks that he has, because they are all terrible. He's got Brian Hoyer. He had some success with some mediocre guys. But that's because his offense is very simple. And when the running game works in his offense, your quarterbacks look good. And when the running game doesn't work in his offense, your quarterbacks look terrible. Right? So Kyle Shanahan looked amazing with the Falcons because he had Tevin Coleman and Devontae Freeman tearing it up. And his offensive style matches their personnel. Kyle Shanahan didn't make Matt Ryan better. Matt Ryan was good. You just gave him an offense that is nitrous oxide to quarterbacks if the running game is there. I just don't understand it. There is no such thing as a quarterback whisperer. We're going to put that one to bed. That is not a thing. It's a cliche that I'd like to see go away. Clutch with Keon Rose on AM 1240 and 92.7 FM.
In-depth traffic, news, and information. Mornings on Nooga Radio, AM 1240 and 92.7 FM.
Essential oils are an overlooked benefit. They're a remedy for allergies, sinuses, headaches, and sleep problems. Aches and pains? Let me help you live a better life. Hi, Loretta Lynn here. It's a free consult. Call me today. Look, I'll even give you a free bottle of essential oil. 423-605-4719. Loretta Lynn's Essential Oils. They've been around for thousands of years. They can even be an alternative to pesticides in your garden. Call today. That's 423-605-4719 and take control of your health.
Hi, this is Eric Pelton. Taxes, accounting, business advice. I've got a neat brochure, 12 ways to improve your business profits. Come on by for a free consultation and we'll give you a copy. E.J. Pelton Company, 332-3339.
Essential oils are an overlooked benefit. They're a remedy for allergies, sinuses, headaches, and sleep problems. Aches and pains? Let me help you. Help you live a better life. Hi, Loretta Lynn here. It's a free consult. Call me today. Look, I'll even give you a free bottle of essential oil. 423-605-4719. Loretta Lynn's Essential Oils. They've been around for thousands of years. They can even be an alternative to pesticides in your garden. Call today. That's 423-605-4719 and take control of your health.
This is Thomas DeMoss with Keller Williams Realty. I am a realtor in Chattanooga. We list and sell homes, work with buyers, work with home sellers. I have been involved in real estate for over 10 years. My background is as a real estate investor. That is what I bring to the table, is that real estate investor mindset. My job is to help you sell your house for the most money, employing the best marketing strategy and walking you through what can be a rather stressful process. So we are encouraging people who are on the fence or even thought about selling their house to give us a call. There's no obligation. We're just here to kind of have a conversation, let people know what the process is like, what the market is like, what values they can expect to receive. We work with buyers as well. I also have a buyer's agent that works exclusively with my buyers because we want to give our clients as much attention as we can. My cell phone number is 423-364-0028. Our website is northriverpropertygroup.com. That's northriverpropertygroup.com. We'd love for you guys to call.
And now to our reporter in the field.
We asked Ray at Ray's Plumbing what's important for homeowners to know.
Some field line systems can cost upwards of $10,000. The bottom line is to save yourself money down the road. I would definitely recommend everybody with a septic that is not on county or city sewer to have an inspection done by a qualified professional. It'd be great if nobody did inspections on them for all plumbing companies. That's what we do to make a living. Not to scare anyone, but it should be in the back of your mind. The danger is the field lines failing and costing thousands upon thousands of dollars and tearing your yard up. By preventative maintenance, you're saving yourself a large headache that may displace yourself and your family. It happens more often than you think. The waste is designed to stay in the tank, and that waste will build up over time. Even with treatment, we have to help that waste break down. Ultimately, preventative maintenance is the key that will keep you from spending $5,000 to $10,000 on replacing your septic system. The bottom line is to save yourself money down the road.
Call Ray at Ray's Plumbing, 421-6341, 421-6341.
My name is Trevor Atchley. I'm an attorney here with the law firm McCoon, Williams, Atchley, and Stanley. We have a show on Nooga Radio called Legal Bites, where we discuss legal topics of interest to our listeners: estate planning, business formation, and business transactions. Legal Bites, 11 a.m. on Wednesday.
Essential oils are an overlooked benefit. They're a remedy for allergies, sinuses, headaches, and sleep problems. Aches and pains? Let me help you live a better life. Hi, Loretta Lynn here. It's a free consult. Call me today. Look, I'll even give you a free bottle of essential oil. 423-605-4719. Loretta Lynn's Essential Oils. They've been around for thousands of years. They can even be an alternative to pesticides in your garden. Call today. That's 423-605-4719 and take control of your health.
Hi, this is Nadia behind the green door. You've had ice cream and you've had shaved ice, but have you had snow cream? It is amazing. It's light, airy, fruity snowflakes melting on your tongue. You need to come and see us. Highway 58, green door next to Hardee's.
Does your business have enough clients? Are you confused about how to stand out in today's saturated social media market? Do you feel lost trying to navigate the maze of marketing channels which are necessary in today's marketplace? Are you fed up with spending your time and money on employees who don't perform and marketing strategies that don't produce? Then you need Cindy's Choice. Cindy will solve your marketing problems with their innovative shared marketing management concept that will allow your business to have the benefits of a full-time employee that is actually out building relationships in the community on behalf of your brand. Cindy's low monthly rate includes advertising, employee management, public relations, and creative marketing strategies that produce. Cindy can bring this all to you at a rate lower than most advertising campaigns and for much less than the cost of hiring a marketing employee. Cindy's Choice is your trusted source, and Cindy will manage it all for you.
Hi, I'm Cindy. I focus on the prospects so you can focus on the projects. Call me at 423-661-4445. That's 423-661-4445. So you can become Cindy's Choice.
Nooga Radio, AM 1240 and 92.7 FM knows your opinion is important. So call 800-8949. Agree or disagree. Call 423-800-8949. 800-8949. Nooga Radio, AM 1240, 92.7 FM, and 95.3 HD4. News, talk, sports. Nooga Radio.
Charge! Get back there, you dang Yankee! Great horny toads, I'm up north. Gotta burn my boots, they touched Yankee soil. Lay down your arms and step forward, Yankee!
What's the hassle, Schmassel?
My orders from General Lee is to hold the Macy-Dixie line, and no Yankees are crossing it.
The Tennessee Valley's news, talk, and sports leader. Nooga Radio, AM 1240 and 92.7 FM.
WBLZ HD4 Ooltewah, W224AZ Chattanooga, WSDT Sunny Daisy Chattanooga.
The president tells Kim Jong-un enough threatening rhetoric.
It's about time that somebody stuck up for the people of this country.
The president declares the opioids epidemic a national emergency, and here's one expert's take.
Doctors prescribing them willy-nilly, so it's something we can fix.
This is the CBS World News Roundup Late Edition. I'm Dave Barrett. We've heard the threats all this week as North Korea's state-run TV has pumped out rhetoric. The Pyongyang regime has threatened to fire 4 missiles at Guam that would land about 25 miles from that Pacific island. It would be a warning to the U.S. Today, President Trump spoke while on his working vacation in New Jersey and called out North Korean leader Kim Jong-un.
He has disrespected our country greatly. Things that are horrific. And with me, he's not getting away with it.
Earlier this week, Mr. Trump said if the U.S. was threatened by the North, this country would respond with fire and fury. He followed up today.
Frankly, the people that were questioning that statement, was it too tough? Maybe it wasn't tough enough.
CBS political director Steve Chigueras.
The president really doubled down on what he said the other day. If you heard closely what he said about North Korea, that's pretty tough talk. I'm not sure we should be surprised the president is speaking this way. He speaks this way about a lot of issues.
The Pentagon says Guam is well protected now. There is no reason to add additional THAAD missile defense systems there. And the president made this point today.
He does something in Guam, it will be an event the likes of which nobody's seen before, what will happen in North Korea.
The president today called the opioid epidemic a national emergency. About 91 deaths from opioids occur every day. Wake Forest University expert Dr. David Friedman.
It is a national emergency, and it's a different kind of drug epidemic than we've ever had before. Treatment is what we need now, and lots of it.
More pressure from the president on Senate Leader Mitch McConnell on health care repeal and replacement.
They said, Mitch, get to work and let's get it done. They should have had this last one done. They lost by 1 vote. For a thing like that to happen is a disgrace.
This is the time of year that health insurers are figuring your premiums for next year. CBS's Peter King says don't look for them to go down.
The nonpartisan Kaiser Family Foundation report says the White House has created uncertainty, and that's what's driving premiums up for millions of Obamacare clients. Kaiser Senior Vice President Larry Levitt.
Insurers have another week to finalize their premium increases, and they've got till the end of September to sign contracts for 2018.
Levitt says the administration is sending mixed signals on subsidy payments to insurers and enforcement of the individual mandate. He says insurance companies, as a result, are raising rates to protect against loss, or they're getting out.
Wall Street, the Dow lost 204, biggest drop since May. The NASDAQ lost 135. Now this.
Hi, I'm Jay Farner, CEO of Quicken Loans. Every day people ask me, Jay, did I miss out? Have the rates gone up? The answer is no. Rates are still low, and it's a perfect time to refinance your home, especially if your mortgage rate is higher than 4.25%. If you'd like to lower your interest rate and save thousands of dollars in interest without starting over on a new 30-year loan, a Quicken Loans Yorgage is what you're looking for. With our exclusive Yorgage, you can choose a term that works best for you, anywhere from 8 to 30 years. The rate today on an 8-year Yorgage is 3.25%, APR 3.75%. For 7 years in a row now, J.D. Power has ranked Quicken Loans highest in the nation for customer satisfaction for primary mortgage origination. And for the 4th year in a row, they've also ranked us highest in the nation for mortgage servicing. Call us today at 800-QUICKEN or go to quickenloans.com. That's 800-QUICKEN.
For J.D. Power award information, visit jdpower.com. Call for cost information and conditions. Equal housing lender. Licensed in all 50 states. NMLSConsumerAccess.org number 3030.
Singer Taylor Swift testified for about an hour today in a Denver courtroom about a 2013 meet and greet with an ex-radio DJ. Swift said her backside was grabbed under her skirt. KCNC TV's Rick Salinger.
Saying what he did was horrible and shocking, Taylor Swift told the attorney for the former DJ David Mueller, "I'm not going to let you or your client make me feel in any way like it's my fault. It isn't." She said she was certain that Mueller reached up underneath her skirt and grabbed her.
Wildfires in Montana, about an hour's drive north of Missoula, very smoky around Seeley Lake, says the health department's Sarah Cofield.
This is smoke that you could chew on, probably. Visibility is dropping down to a block, maybe. People have to have headlights on to drive through town. It is tremendously unhealthy air.
And residents have been advised to get out. 16 square miles.
News and information. Mornings on Nooga Radio. AM 1240. Chattanooga Radio, AM 1240 and 92.7 FM's news now.
Chattanooga cops say they found a bullet-riddled body on Lightfoot Mill Road. They say it belonged to Deontay James, who they claim is a validated gang member. The Violent Crimes Bureau now trying to find out if the shooting was gang-related or not. A grisly discovery behind the former rave theater. A 21-year-old woman was found hanged to death in an apparent suicide. Family members say that the unnamed woman was suicidal after a breakup with her husband. The Chattanooga Police Department has confirmed that an officer was arrested on DUI charges, apparently blowing an 0.144 blood alcohol level in a breathalyzer test. He's been put on paid administrative leave. Michael Allen Trumbo, who's 28. In Walker County, the debt situation is so bad that the deficit is $7.5 million. County Commissioner Shannon Whitfield is holding special meetings to talk to the public about the problem. Russell Stroud, Nooga Radio News, now.
In-depth traffic, news, and information. Mornings on Nooga Radio, AM 1240 and 92.7 FM.
Any spotty showers will diminish through your nighttime. Still lots of clouds and some patchy fog developing overnight. Lows 70 to 72. Now for your Friday and Saturday, a few isolated, mainly afternoon showers and storms popping up. A little warmer, highs mid and upper 80s. McBriar Realty is now Real Living Southern Realty, serving the entire tri-state area. Find your dream home now with Real Living Southern Realty. For their complete listings and more, rlsouthernrealty.com. And I'm Sourcine 12 Chief Meteorologist Patrick Core. On Nooga Radio, AM 1240 and 92.7 FM.
You've been in a wreck.
756-6400.
You've been wrongfully fired.
756-6400.
A turkey is suing you out of the blue.
756-6400.
Confused about a business startup?
756-6400.
That's the number for you. 756-6400. Right here, right now, Chattanooga. Call now. Top flight legal help awaits. Get biz advice now. Representation to fight for your right. What are you waiting for? That's 756-6400. Don't sit on your right. You've got remedies. Turn your tragedy into cash. You've got the solution from estate planning all the way to probate. Act now. Top attorneys in Chattanooga are waiting to help you get relief. Act now. No out-of-pocket. You don't pay a dime until we win, so win with us.
756-6400.
Call now. Top Flight Legal Help awaits. What are you waiting for? That's 756-6400. Turn your tragedy into cash. Act now. No out-of-pocket. You don't pay a dime until we win, so win with us.
756-6400.
756-6400.
Nooga Radio, AM 1240 and 92.7 FM knows your opinion is important. So call 800-8949. Agree or disagree. Call 423-800-8949. 800-8949. Nooga Radio, AM 1240, 92.7 FM, and 95.3 HD4. News, talk, sports. Nooga Radio.
Hello, Chattanooga. You're listening to AM 1240 and 92.7 FM. Clutch with Keon Rose. That's me. Thank you for joining me today, making me just a small part of your day. You are listening to us here on Nooga Radio and our simple website, noogaradio.com. Just show up and it just starts playing the station. It's about as easy a thing as there is to do. And just a little bit of news. The PGA Championship starts today. And again, I'm not very big on the breakdowns of these things because I mention this very frequently. I'm a casual golf fan, and I find myself potentially looking very stupid if I'm going to sit there and tell you, well, I don't know who's going to win this. I will always pick Jordan Spieth because I like him the most. That's really where we are with that. And I don't like Rory as much, but he is a very, very good golfer. And I think if Jordan Spieth were to win the PGA Championship, I believe he would be the youngest person to win a Grand Slam. He would beat out Tiger Woods for that, but he'd have to win it on this try. He wouldn't get another chance at it. So that's starting today. But on the phone, joining me is my brother. He is a writer. He is a basketball aficionado, and he's here to help me talk some NBA offseason stuff, as well as the foolishness that is Floyd Mayweather and Conor McGregor. Kerwin, how you doing, man?
I'm good. You know, people are starting to begin figuring out that every time I'm on the show is when neither of us are prepped and, like, we're both lazy. Except, of course, March Madness. The March Madness show is meticulously prepped and is often our worst show.
Which is weird, right? You would think that the one with the most effort and the most work, that would be the one that was the best, but no. No,
we're too stodgy. We're too, over-informed. We want to get off all these points. We're like, no, we have to get these jokes off. It doesn't mesh as well as, hey, we care, but you don't need to know that.
And there also, it works against your NCAA bracket. There is a science to filling out your NCAA bracket, which is to be informed, but not too informed.
Which is what we give you. The people should be here. Listen, we are never too informed.
Take that for whatever it is that it is worth. Okay, so let's just jump into it and start with Kyrie Irving, because he's been criticized by a lot of the old dudes talking about back in my day with the whole situation involving his departure from Cleveland, or his request for departure from Cleveland. And he has been criticized by Ron Harper and yesterday Charles Barkley, both men calling him, Ron Harper called him young and foolish. Charles Barkley simply called him stupid because that's how Charles rolls. Are they right?
Okay. Just a clarification on my part. Is he calling him stupid because he's leaving LeBron, or because he's not going about this free agency thing, this whole player going on the free market thing the right way? Like,
because he's leaving LeBron.
Charles Barkley his actual problem with Kyrie?
Because he's leaving LeBron.
Oh, okay. Look, come on now. Can we can stop saying LeBron is going to be great forever. He's not. Also, LeBron is not particularly being, like, committed to the situation Kyrie is currently in. And Kyrie is stuck in this situation, and he's in his prime. And what we've learned is that, how many injuries has Kyrie sustained in his career? Do you know? I don't know. All I know is that his entire, like, first 3 years, it was him and your boy John Wall. Oh, my goodness. It was him and your boy John Wall. Your boy John Wall, and they were going head to head, and every year we could not quite figure out which one was better than the other one because neither of them could stay on the court. And so I don't know. I just feel like he's doing the thing in this moment that's the most helpful to him, which is the right way to go about it. And he won the championship already. They're not going to beat the Warriors. So, like, anything else, second place is first loser. Go try to be, like, the best first loser somewhere else on your own. Why not?
I agree. And also, like, there's a certain level of I'm not trying to be LeBron James's son that Kyrie is trying to avoid. And I certainly empathize with that and go, you know what? I get it. I'm not trying to be somebody's son or little brother or that situation, because I did have an awkward situation like that in college where I had a friend who was showing me the ropes around school. And then when we would go hang out with people, he would introduce me as his little brother. And I had to stop hanging around with the guy because it was like, no, stop. We're not doing this.
Because then you get that rep. Like, you're second fiddle to the greatest player of all time. Yeah, to the greatest player of all time. But second fiddle is not a great title. Not if you have the level of pride that people hear about Kyrie. Now, Kyrie is a weird dude. From my understanding, like, he can actually play point guard if he wanted to, but elects to play score first, shooting guard, masquerading as a point guard on purpose, which means he's playing a worse version of the game of basketball on purpose just to prove that he's that great scorer guy. And he doesn't have ups, and he's not the most explosive guy. He just has great feel and rhythm and incredible handles, and maybe the best finisher within like 4 feet of the basket. And he's going to swing that into, for the first team, first player option. He's going to be the first guy on the team. He's going to get paid the $200 million contract. He's going to get one no matter what age he is when this contract ends. That's like a done deal.
He'll be 27, by the way, which is perfect.
Tomorrow, he'll still get one. Go ahead.
I was saying he'll be 27, which is perfect. But you realize the reason why Kyrie plays the way that Kyrie plays is because his idol is Kobe. And Kobe, I feel like, has done a fair amount of wrecking of the NBA post being in the NBA.
I love Kobe. I love Kobe. I can't get enough Kobe Bryant, but come on now. Really? It's the modern NBA. We know that is good only in specific situations. It's a great skill to have in the playoffs when things slow down and crunch down. It's a great skill to have in the fourth quarter of games, last 5 minutes, teams really are locked in. You're not getting really any free baskets. If you are, then the other team is mailing it in. The best way to play is to move the ball and to generate easy shots. And Kyrie can generate easy shots for his teammates. You just don't trust none of them.
Which is crazy. But, like, I say the reason why I blame Kobe for much of what is happening in the NBA is because Kobe Bryant is the mentor to Russell Westbrook and the mentor to Kyrie Irving. And both of these men have been on the record of asking Kobe Bryant what it's like to play with a teammate who is also considered a superstar. And Kobe Bryant, I don't know what advice he gave them, but if it's the advice he gave them on how to handle a guy like Shaq, it's not working. It's not working.
Look, here's the thing. You can blame Kobe, but interestingly enough, and this is the thing that Adrian Wojnarowski pointed out over at ESPN, you have to blame LeBron too. Like, this whole player empowerment, control your situation, do not let anybody dictate to you. You are a player, a star player. This happens on your terms thing is LeBron's doing. It's LeBron's initiative. Tells that to everybody. It's why people sign short contracts. It's the reason why there aren't like these long 5-year commitments making anymore. It's the reason Boogie Cousins got traded. It's the reason Paul George got traded, because those guys were never going to commit to those teams unless you threw everything you had at them, which means you have to have every ounce of belief for the next 5 years that this is the guy. It's just, you don't see those things happen anymore, mainly because of LeBron. LeBron is the one that warped the NBA so that contracts favor him, specifically the once in a generation, the once in 10 decades talent that he is. And everybody, whether they are that or not, whether you're Kyrie and you only play on halfway, you only play offense and no defense, or you're John Wall and you play both sides of the ball, but you maybe don't have as high a ceiling on offense as maybe Kyrie does. That's the thing that they're thinking about when they're in negotiations. So you don't sign, John Wall got a $200 million contract offered to him. You would think the very next minute that a guy with a couple of knee injuries in his past would just pick up a pen and sign it. He waited 2 weeks. He made the Wizards sweat. I don't understand that. Do you?
I mean, I do, because I agree with what you're saying, that, yeah, this is the league that LeBron James created, and we all now have to sort of deal with it. But I will say this, though. Shifting the ball back to Kyrie's court here. Kyrie's departure is actually less surprising. There is a report. There was a guy that was on the B-Ball Breakdown podcast, and there was a report that Kyrie Irving, during the playoffs, wouldn't talk to his teammates for consecutive days. And so, like, the more information we get about Kyrie Irving in Cleveland, the less surprising that he wants out any of this is.
Let me ask you a question. What team wants Kyrie? Like, if I hear he's a diva assassination report, which sometimes can be a little overblown. You know, you had that with, like, what was his name in New York? Well, you had it with, Melo, I guess, as we can go. There was a different guy I was thinking, but Melo was probably the most thinkable example. Or with Jimmy Butler in Chicago, they just leak stuff about their star because they're mad at their star and they're trying to punish him. And the way they decide to do that is just, like, destroy his trade value, which makes no sense.
Right.
Whatever. I digress. Like, what team, if you're a team and you hear that Kyrie has a bunch of knee issues, he's not going to commit to you unless you have, like, one of three destinations, and he kind of is a diva, like, why would you want that? Is that the leader that you need for your team? Like, you're paying him leader money. What team would you say he's going to go to? What team do you think even would want him?
I would have to say some really desperate bad team, like Orlando or someplace that you're just like, you know what, we are so desperate in ball, we will take all the headaches. We're just going to eat it. Doesn't matter. Like, you're the Clippers and you're on the verge of stinking forever. Like, you just eat it.
I'm going to say, that there are a bunch of Orlando-ish teams. There's the Nuggets with, they got Jokic, though. But, you got...
They need another guy, yeah.
New York would kill to have Kyrie. I mean, most teams in the league, I think, would have Kyrie, but I don't know that you want him as the number one, or at least in most cases, the only option. If he's the only option, I'm going to say a 45-win team at best.
I think that's
and
generous.
You're not beating most teams in the playoffs.
I think that's very generous. You're listening to Clutch with Keon Rose on AM 1240 and 92.7 FM. On the phone is my brother. He's a writer and basketball aficionado, and we are talking NBA. So yeah, I mean, all of that news about Kyrie. But let's jump over to back to your other point that this is the league that LeBron James has created, because the NBA has changed a few scheduling rules. They're going to space some games out, and they are requesting that teams do not rest all of their starters on TV games, which I think is completely fair. This is LeBron's fault, no?
It's LeBron-ish's fault. It's also kind of Greg Popovich's fault. It's the kind of thing that, there's a big hullabaloo that happens whenever Greg Popovich rolls through town to one of these major games. And he's just like, you know what? We just played 24 hours ago. We're going to lose this game. I'm not going to embarrass my guys on national television. I'm not going to back-to-back them. I'm just going to rest them if you're going to do this. And, I get the memo, but you can't. I don't know, can the NBA even do anything if they just like, oh, thanks for the extra time, we're also going to take the normal amount of time? Can the NBA even do anything?
I don't think so. Here's the reason.
That's the best.
Here's the reason why I believe the NBA can do absolutely nothing about this, is that in their memo, they advised that teams stop doing this, which means
advise, Keon.
Yeah, correct, right? No,
I advise you to take multivitamins every day. Does that mean, is that a dictation to you?
Correct. Advise seems to me to say that we actually don't have any power enforcing this. I don't think that the NBA Players Association is going to go for it. We're just telling you, please stop.
I mean, at best, I think you could do is you could fine them, and that's kind of a gray area, honestly. Didn't they fine Popovich and them $250,000 for arresting everybody?
They did.
Some ridiculous something happened there. I remember, and then the NBA Players Association acted up, and they were like, okay, not worth it. This battle in particular.
The reason why I blame LeBron for this, though, is because the Spurs had been doing this for a while, and no one really thought, let's change all the rules. But LeBron has to know that he's LeBron. So when he does something, of course it's a bigger headline. Of course, when people pay the money for their tickets to go see LeBron James, that there is an expectation that's a little bit greater than when you pay your ticket to go see Tony Parker.
I get you. Well, according to the Undefeated, LeBron is the 29th most influential black athlete of the past 100 years. I don't know. By the way, that is the most bogus list. Have you seen this list?
I haven't seen that list, but that article already sounds like nonsense. What?
It's okay. It's dumb. Okay, I'm going to say race baity, but it's not. Race baity isn't the word that I'm looking for. It just feels like a dumb article for the most part. And then add on top of that it is categorically just bad. They just the number of people who you think should be on the list or like should be top 15 on that list and are just buried somewhere in the 30s. Gabby Douglas and Simone Biles are the top 10. The people who only perform every 4 years are the top 10. And LeBron James, the last 8 NBA championships, who's owned the last 8 Junes of this past decade, is number 28 on that list. I could not believe it. I lost my mind. I immediately stopped reading. I was like, oh, LeBron's going to be top 7. I was like, oh, you have Muhammad Ali. You have to have Muhammad Ali. You have to have Magic. You know what I mean? Like that kind of, those kind of people. But I saw Simone Biles pop up, and I was like, oh boy, they're doing a woman initiative thing, and I'm just like, I am not that person. I'm not an anti-feminist. None of that stuff. I'm just like, please, come on now. It's LeBron James.
Now, LeBron James needs to be in the top 5 of that list. Just based, like, you have to, because look, when you just base it on sheer global influence, the guy is himself a brand. He's changed the way the league has worked. Like, you can't make a list like that. That's terrible. That's an awful list. I mean, like, there's people that are obviously at the top. Muhammad Ali, I imagine, has to be up there. Jesse Owens, I imagine, has to be up there. Jim Brown, I would also have to imagine, is up there. I wouldn't dream of putting Simone Biles anywhere near the top of that list. And I would actually put Gabby Douglas higher.
Biles on the list. I like Simone Biles.
No, she's good. She's amazing, but she's not more influential than LeBron. We talk about LeBron every day. We're not going to talk about Gabby Douglas for another 3 years or Simone Biles for another 3 years. It's going to be like they're gymnasts.
Did you talk about Simone Biles a year ago when she was performing in the Olympics and she was doing quite poorly and she was getting trashed left and right? But did we even talk about her then? Gabby Douglas is already fading from memory. I don't understand why she's on the list. Okay, that's fine. We don't have to get into it. It's a bad.
Yeah, no, I just think when you got to call out stupid when you see stupid, that's a bad list. And also, like, what metrics are you going off of? Like, what is your standard to say this person is 1 and this person is 2? It's crazy.
Can I ask you a baseball question? And this is coming out of left field on my part because
you never ask baseball questions.
I'm a firm baseball disliker, not hater. Disliker. I've softened in my old age. Was Babe Ruth black? Is that a thing? Is there like some kind of? I heard this on the Leprechaun show. Apparently, this Babe Ruth was probably at least partially mixed black or something like that.
Look, if that's the case, I've never heard that before in my whole life. I don't know what to tell you. I've never heard that before. This is the world. We do live in a world.
The show, can you pull up a picture of Babe Ruth and just look at him and then give the audience your reaction? I don't know. He feels a little black to me. I'm just throwing it out there.
Look, I'm saying if you want to make that assertion because he just seemed so athletically ahead of his time, then I suppose.
And I don't know, but I heard that that was a rumor. I don't understand where it came from. He might be black. He's in a lot of black and white pictures. I think of Babe Ruth's face, and it's the wavy sort of like, bouncy hair that doesn't quite fit for me, but like I don't. This is a dumb conversation. I'm sorry.
I don't know,
man. It's all surrounded around this dumb list. It's a terrible list. Go look at it and let your heart hurt.
I'm looking at Babe Ruth's face right now. I'm looking at a guy that I don't think he's black, man.
Okay.
Just my opinion.
Okay.
I don't know where that came from. These are the depths that we reach on this show.
Could he be mixed?
I suppose you could make that argument, but like you'd have. Look, I feel like you're on the side of the argument that needs to come up with some proof more than he looks like.
Have you seen both of Babe Ruth's white parents?
No.
In one place at one time.
Well, no, but I don't. When you look up Babe Ruth, you don't look up his parents. I mean, there is no athlete for which I actually know what their parents look like if they were born before like 1970.
You read the what was that one comic book where the guy pretended he was sort of he was mixed and he was light enough to pass as white in the Deep South, and he was doing some undercover journalism and finding out about the plight of black people down there.
The book is actually called Incognito.
Being mistreated under Jim Crow. I can't remember it.
The book is called.
On the radio. I'm not going to. It just popped into my head. I'm not going to say it on the radio. It's a good comic book. It's great.
Yeah. The book is called Incognito. which it's the name of the book, man.
I wasn't sure. I didn't have the list of inappropriate radio terms in front of me. I was just like, We actually have our contract on the wall. So we have our contract on the wall. So I'm okay. I know the words that I can say and that I cannot say. They make you sign it so the FCC don't show up and do and do what the FCC is known to do. I'm just saying maybe it's like that, but Babe Ruth's whole life and baseball like this. I'm just saying, throwing it out there. Let that simmer in your gut.
I feel very uncomfortable with this idea, this concept, and also this theory.
It's a good idea. I think it's a fun idea. It's like Babe Ruth, the most American baseball player of all time, half black. Beautiful. Let's just look, cherry on top of that.
If someone uncovered that, if someone unearthed that and proved that to actually be true, nobody would enjoy that more than me. That would be an entire week of content for this show. But
so you're saying it's the speculation that makes you uncomfortable.
Correct. I don't want to be like even entertaining the idea, and then you take a look at both of his parents or something, and you're like, actually, I don't know how we ever got there.
I don't know, infidelity. Maybe there are a lot of ways we could have gotten there.
Okay,
well, see, let it simmer in your craw, let it whatever it is that things happen, and how you gestate ideas.
Well, see, now that's further speculation that makes me even more uncomfortable. You're listening to AM 1240 and 92.7 FM, Clutch with Keon Rose here on Nooga Radio and NoogaRadio.com. We are going to go down this Floyd and Connor fight after the break. Stick around.
The Tennessee Valley's news, talk, and sports leader. Nooga Radio, AM 1240 and 92.7 FM.
3, 2, 1.
Chattanooga Radio, AM 1240 and 92.7 FM's news now.
Chattanooga cops after a sharp-dressed man who they say robbed a convenience store in Lookout Valley early Thursday morning. Surveillance camera photos capture a black man wearing a blue or white dress shirt, black pants, robbing a Kangaroo Express on Browns Ferry Road. The police say they'd love to meet him and have a bit of a chat. Chattanooga cops say they found 2 stashes of cash and drugs in a location where a man accused of murder was staying. William Howard Wright, who's 18, is accused in a double murder case along with a 17-year-old juvenile, in which 2 bodies were found inside of a cemetery. The police say they found an AR-15, drugs, baggies, and drug paraphernalia, along with a large stash of cash where they believe one of the suspects was staying. Back in June, Desmond Clay was killed, and now in August, an arrest has been made. 20-year-old Desmond Trammell, charged with criminal homicide among other charges, accused of killing Clay on Wilcox Boulevard. Russell Stroud, Nooga Radio News, now.
In-depth traffic, news, and information. Mornings on Nooga Radio, AM 1240 and 92.7 FM.
Any spotty showers will diminish through your nighttime. Still lots of clouds and some patchy fog developing overnight. Lows 70 to 72. Now for your Friday and Saturday, a few isolated mainly afternoon showers and storms popping up. A little warmer, highs mid and upper 80s. McBriar Realty is now Real Living Southern Realty, serving the entire tri-state area. Find your dream home now with Real Living Southern Realty. For their complete listings and more, rlsouthernrealty.com. And I'm Source 12 Chief Meteorologist Patrick Hoare on Nooga Radio AM 1240 and 92.7 FM.
Hi, this is Eric Pelton. Taxes, accounting, business advice. I've got a neat brochure, 12 ways to improve your business profits. Come on by for a free consultation and we'll give you a copy. E.J. Pelton Company, 332-3339.
I have the best steak selection in town. Name of the business is Don's Meat Shop, and I'm Donnie Raines. Just ask for Donnie. I make over 20 different types of sausages. Most of them are great for grilling. We have the best selection, best quality. We have the hard-to-find items. Don's Meat Shop.
Hi, I'm David Crockett, and I'm here with David Tulis, and we're having a little discussion over who's the number one Nooga centrist. If you want to keep up with free market ideas, then read Nooganomics.com. David Tulis, the blogger with the biggest pen.
The Tennessee Valley's news, talk, and sports leader. Nooga Radio, AM 1240 and 92.7 FM.
You're listening to Clutch with Keon Rose on Nooga Radio on AM 1240 and 92.7 FM. And we're going to talk about the Conor McGregor-Floyd Mayweather fight because, and I've said this a number of times and I'll continue to say it, if you pay for this fight, if you pay actual of your own money for this fight, you are a sucker. You need to find someone to mooch off of if you really, really are that desperate to see it. But the most interesting parts of this fight in terms of the press conferences and the chicanery has already happened. The stuff that you wanted to see has already happened. So I don't know where you want to go from here. On the phone joining me is my brother. He is a writer. He is a basketball aficionado, but he's also a big time MMA fan and knows more about mixed martial arts than I do. I'm the boxing guy in the family. So Kerwin, what are your thoughts on this sham of a fight?
I think, oh my goodness. Look, I can't even, I was going to do a thing where I was going to fake sell it to you. I can't even do that. That's just, it's a bad fight. It's a bad fight. And if you do anything but check ESPN to see Floyd Mayweather just 10-8ing Conor through 36 minutes, then I don't understand what kind of human being you are. Like, why would you even, Conor McGregor was fighting Nick Diaz, and got tired after like halfway through the second round. He got tired and choked out. Conor McGregor lost that fight mostly in part, that first Nick Diaz fight, because he got tired. Get tired in a 25-minute fight. You fight in boxing for 36 last time I checked.
Correct.
You throw way more punches. Those are bigger. They focus on your body. Conor McGregor's not going to get halfway through this fight. It doesn't matter how the first half goes. It genuinely doesn't. He's going to get knocked out. He'll probably just like fall down, run out of gas kind of thing. He'll just sort of like lose energy. But like, he's going to get like maimed or like roughly roughed up maybe. Maimed is probably a strong word when it comes to Mayweather. But he's going to get roughed up for 6 unbroken rounds in which he might throw 3 punches. And it's not going to be pretty. He does not have the endurance for this. He has been doing this his whole life. It's in like the fast twitch muscles of Floyd Mayweather and all of the muscles of Floyd Mayweather have only done one thing for 40 whatever years how long Mayweather's been boxing.
20.
It's this thing, and it's not the same thing as mixed martial arts. It's just not.
No, and that's the thing. If you flip it and they're in an octagon, then I give McGregor the advantage. We're not in an octagon, we're in a boxing ring. And yeah, I mean, Conor McGregor is going to get pummeled. Now, I wouldn't say maimed because Floyd Mayweather hasn't maimed anybody in about 10 years. But like it's one of those things where they're doing, boxers just punch. That's all they do. Okay? These punches are going to hurt more. And it's so funny because Conor was saying, well, the gloves are so big, so it's going to help with no, it's not, okay? Because we boxed for exactly a month and a half, or however long it was that we were at that boxing gym. And I promise you, the gloves don't make it not hurt. Okay?
I don't know what he's saying. Look, the fight is only interesting in the circus portion of the fight, okay? And the circus has been great. I'm not going to sit here and pretend like I haven't enjoyed Conor McGregor walking onto stage, in like, was it fur pants and no shirt? I don't know what was happening.
It was red pants, a fur jacket, and no shirt.
Floyd Mayweather was calm and composed while one of his opponents, for the first time in the history of his career, was like losing their mind on the other side of the stage, hyping the fight, basically doing Floyd Mayweather's job for him. All Floyd Mayweather had to do is sit there and be sort of like the bad person we know him to be and make a couple of gay slurs and to bring up race. And we knew he was going to do it. And he was like, I'm fighting for the black people. We were like, oh, no, it's cool. We're good, man. We don't need you to do that for us.
Yeah. Floyd on the list of influential black athletes. We didn't need him on the list. We don't need him on the list.
Is he on that list? If he's on the list of the undefeated,
no.
Level of influential, I'm going to laugh and I'm going to block all undefeated sites. And it's not fair to them, but they just did a terrible thing there.
No, I'm not saying he is on the list. I'm saying he's definitely never going to make the list. Now I actually want to check. But
don't. Conor, it would hurt my soul too much to find out on air. You'd hear like just noises come from this line. Don't do it.
Conor, the circus has been great. Conor, I watched all of the press conferences. Conor showed up in the first press conference in a suit. It was a pinstripe suit, and if you look closely, the pinstripes are actually words that say "F you," He showed up later in red pants and a fur jacket and no shirt. He's just he is the one that brought up race initially, and made it racial for no reason. And then when people asked him to dismiss it, he said, "Look, how can I be racist? I'm black from the belly button down." Like, this entire circus has been a glorious circus.
It's been great.
My thing with the circus, though, is that the circus has been free. Like, you don't have to pay for that part.
Right. This is the thing that I don't understand. Like, this is what you came to this fight for. And I think maybe that kind of reflects in the ticket sales, because apparently they are not selling out hotel rooms and they are not selling out that arena quite yet. And
right. And the fight is at the end of this month.
And it's caused Floyd Mayweather to come on with Stephen A. Smith. Usually just like a Floyd Mayweather puff piece where he like hypes himself. Stephen A. Smith lobs him softballs and Mayweather crushes them into the atmosphere. Stephen A. is like, what about this person that said this? And then Mayweather's just like, but I'm Floyd Mayweather. I make money, and throws money in the air. And his whole brand is solidified. But this time he's out here talking about, I might lose. I don't know. I've lost a step. I'm going to come forward. Like he's ever come forward in his whole career.
Right. His entire career has been predicated on him being the greatest defensive boxer of his generation. Like, if you had to rank the great defensive boxers of all time, 1 is Willie Pep, 2 is Floyd Mayweather. The end of the conversation. And here we are, with Floyd Mayweather going, I'm going to change my style. I lost the step. Yeah, I'm worse than I was when I fought Pacquiao. Stop.
Oh my goodness. It's hard. He may be worse, but like he's so. If he trained even just like a modest training camp, he'll be fine. That's how much better Mayweather is at boxing than basically any human being is on the planet. He probably could beat like a couple of boxers who are in the top 10 right now. Like, I don't understand why we're even entertaining this. Is the thing. There are people at home deciding on whether they should drop. I don't even know how much the pay-per-view is. I have not looked that up. Let's say $60, so that seems modest. It's probably $80 on this fight, and they're going to watch it with them, and like they're two like, and they're going to be disappointed because you just paid for 36 minutes of just terrible boxing, just the worst that you can do.
The thing that makes this thing crazy to me, this whole thing, is they've actually said that you can. They're putting this fight out in select movie theaters. And to me, this has gotten so racial that I would never go into a dark movie theater with a bunch of people I didn't know. Because no matter which way this goes, it can't possibly be well in a crowded movie theater. No?
No. It could go really poorly. But listen, here's the thing. The fight will not be interesting. Everything that before the fight and everything after the fight is what's interesting. So, Conor gets knocked out. He loses poorly. He goes, he gets mad. He spits Floyd Mayweather. Suddenly there's a race war. America is torn in half. And we have ruined the gift, the oyster of American democracy over Floyd Mayweather and Conor McGregor, who just happen to be like both egomaniacs and also going to be insanely rich after, what is it, August 12th, whenever the fight is?
It's the 26th.
The 26th. Oh my goodness. Just, you know what? We'll be on the beach in Florida and I will not be watching that fight.
Correct. We're trying to do everything we can to not watch that fight. Because for me personally, if there's a knockout, the knockout's going to be on YouTube about 5 minutes after it happens. So what do I have to pay for it for?
It'll be on Twitter. It'll be on YouTube. It'll be a gift. You can type it into like the Google gift search bar and it'll just be there over and over again. The only part of the fight that you might have actually cared about, Conor McGregor hitting the canvas. Like, I don't understand. Though, in fairness, Florida may not be the best place as it is the crazy of America. Just the crazy center of America. If you're looking for a very poor place to like a race riot to break out, Florida's probably it.
Florida's, yeah, I'll agree with that.
Florida's terrible. Florida's quite terrible. I think we can all agree on that.
Florida's a terrible state with pockets of decent places to be, generally. Though there was a million Tennessee fans just nodding in agreement at the very suggestion that Florida's not good at anything ever. So there is that happening.
Hey, I finally said a nice thing about Tennessee. Listen, I finally said something that me and the Tennessee fans can agree on. Florida,
Yeah, no, I do hesitate to bring you on the show sometimes so that you don't offend my entire audience, which is a decent amount of Tennessee fans. And you have been known to mock the Vols.
I'm not even going to say anything mean about them yet. I'm waiting until they give me ammunition, which they will, because Tennessee, the college is terrible, and the state is just, smells like cigarette smoke. But go ahead.
Okay, well, thanks for that. So let's jump off the Mayweather McGregor thing, because I feel like we could go down like the whole Paulie Malignaggi thing. Paulie Malignaggi was the sparring partner of Conor McGregor, who now says he's the biggest dirtbag he's ever met. We could go down that whole rabbit hole again, but let's not. Warriors.
Okay, I would listen. Just we don't want to. We're adding to it. We're not helping heal America as we talk about this fight that is breaking apart America. Let's just move on.
Correct. I mean, we've got more important things to do. We're getting in a nuclear arms race with the North Koreans. Look, life has got other issues to cover. The Warriors said that they will pursue Paul George. Let's keep this one quicker, because I feel like we all know this is going.
This is dumb. It's not gonna happen. This is not like the Kevin Durant thing where it was like, ooh, intrigue, maybe, and then it actually did happen, and we were like, oh, this is the greatest single thing, or the worst thing that ever happened to the NBA, however you view it. But this is just not going to happen. Where would the money come from? They literally have to clear enough cap space to take on his cap hold. I'm not even good at the math of the NBA contracts, and I know this is like they'd have to trade away all of their bench, basically, and maybe they could, or maybe lose Klay Thompson. That's basically what's at risk. And why would you? Klay Thompson's a better shooter, and also, I would say, more versatile 1 through 3. And also, Paul George, does he do anything for you, Keon? I'm asking, just out of curiosity.
No. Here's what I think about Paul George. Right? I remember during the playoffs when Paul George was getting mad at CJ Watson and saying, "Hey, no, I got to take the last shot in these games." Here's an interesting stat about Paul George. Paul George on shots in the last 30 seconds of games, 1 for 21.
He's terrible. He's a terrible last big shot taker. He just hasn't taken that many, to be frank, because he hasn't been in that many big situations. And just not a great big shot taker. He doesn't do, and it's the thing that I would love him for pre-leg injury, which is that he could lock down 1 through 4. He doesn't do now. Why would you? What is it that's so special there? He's like a decent 3-point shooter, pretty good bucket getter, kind of not necessarily going to fit into the Warrior system. You have 2 generational shooters and Kevin Durant. Well, actually 3 generational shooters and Draymond Green. Just you're fine. You're fine.
Yeah. But I don't understand why you need to rock the boat on this one. Okay. So we're coming up down to the end of the show. And usually when we have you on, we do some kind of movie review. And we have both seen the movie Dunkirk. Dunkirk, thumbs up or thumbs down for you?
Thumbs up. And it was initially a reluctant thumbs up. I just knew I'd seen something breathtaking, but I was confused and I was lost. And then I did a mild amount of research, and then I saw it again, of course. And you know what? It's the best movie that I've seen this year, and it doesn't try to drown you in over-explanation, and it gets what it's really about, and it's not overly emotional in this sort of the way that some of these war movies can be. It's like a war movie that is not trying to apologize for the acts of war. It's just like, this is what happened. And it's as good. It's like Christopher Nolan, as pared down as he possibly can be, and yet still good. If it goes any farther, okay, then we're just watching a loose series of images, which is technically what a movie is, but not a good way.
But more abstract.
This is Chris. What was that?
I was saying, but more abstract. You're trying to get less abstract and more cohesive here. Yeah.
What did you think of it?
I liked it a lot. I watched it. Now, I did come in knowing a lot about Dunkirk, the actual evacuation.
Right,
well, no. Well, first off, I'm not going to take 100% credit for that. Our news director, Russell Stroud, is a big history buff. And so he told me, read up on it before you go see the movie. So I did look into it, and there's a whole lot of interesting stories involved in that entire process. Christopher Nolan decided to focus in on 3 storylines, which I think is very good. In terms of keeping everything concise. You're not trying to jump around in too many different places. And I just thought the movie was just very fantastic and very well done. like you said, it's not it doesn't make war seem cheesy and rah-rah, but I also thought it didn't do the thing that a lot of other movies do, which is to go, war is hell and everything is suffering. It's like, no, war is bad, but people make the best of the situations that they're in. And I think that was a really cool take on a war movie that I had not seen before.
And I enjoyed, like, there's a sense of anxiety, and that was like almost worse than the bombs. Like when the guy won't go below deck because he like had been below deck in a cruiser that was bombed before, and it just sort of like it was just had great foreshadowing, these great plane shots. I never ever enjoyed plane battles. I enjoy these plane battles.
Yeah, the planes felt claustrophobic, which I was like, man, I don't want any part of that.
It was okay, without spoiling the movie, but when the one scene that I am now thinking of, you were also thinking of, that's just brilliant when the dude is in the airplane and the water is coming. I'll stop there.
Yeah, but it's pretty amazing, and you feel the tension with it, most definitely. There's also, I think, like the sound that Christopher Nolan uses in all of his movies, that ticking sound of things happening, that shows up a lot, and that makes you feel worried and panicked and scared in a way that is deeply satisfying, quite frankly.
Yeah, like it's a movie experience. It's the kind of thing you should see on a big screen and just be kind of overwhelmed by. And they don't make spectacles that big and don't also necessitate loudness. Does that make sense? Like usually what it is like a transformer and like 9,000 explosions happening on screen. And this was like a really quiet movie, and for a significant portion of it, and it didn't cheat actor performances, and it was just a good movie. It was just really beautifully cinematic. It's just, it's the kind of thing you should see on a big screen, and that's how I recommend most people should see it.
If you have the money to go see it in the IMAX, was it the 70 millimeter version of it? I did not have that kind of money, so I went and saw it in 4K, which was nice.
If it's still in theaters, go.
All right, I'll see what the cash flow looks like for me there. You usually also have a pretty decent pulse on like what's coming up, what movies are coming up. Not to put you on the spot because you're in no way prepared for this, but do you have any movies that you are looking forward to, either this upcoming month or the month after?
There's this movie, I think it's called Mother. It has oh goodness, I cannot seeing her face. Katniss from the Hunger Games. Cannot help me, Keon. Help.
Jennifer Lawrence. Jennifer Lawrence.
Katniss.
Say it again.
Starlet. What?
Jennifer Lawrence.
Jennifer Lawrence. Good gracious. Mother. Her, Javier Bardem, just in a movie about a house that's kind of like wasting away to nothing. It's just a weird looking movie from the dude who made Black Swan. Go see that one.
Okay.
Then you've got Atomic Blonde. They're just these mad decent action movies coming out. You got John Wick, which is a dumb premise for a movie, but you go, you see the action, it's great. It's a beautifully designed film, action based around its action. Atomic Blonde, Mad Max,
Baby Driver.
It's not going to be just complete stupid violence, and you're just going to like hate it forever.
Yeah, that's the way I felt about Baby Driver.
Baby Driver, exactly. Like that smart-ish action movie that doesn't drain you of your soul after you've seen it.
I thought it did drag on a little long near the end there, Baby Driver, but yeah, ultimately I thought, yeah, the movie's got a lot of heart and it's got
a little long. Baby Driver could have stood to have 20 minutes cut from it, all 20 minutes in the last chase scene. All 20.
Correct. All
how many times can John Hamm pop back up? Whatever.
Yeah, but that's the thing. Like the John Hamm buddy character is.
I mean, if you like horror movies, The Conjuring, which is kind of making this really consistent mid-tier horror movie where they don't spend too much money and they get the shot right and scares the bejesus out of you, like that.
What about
that
It?
Level horror movie, Annabelle in theaters.
What about It? Are you interested in It?
Keon, I don't. My whole soul hurts when I think about going to go see it. But yes, Stephen King novel adapted from that 1970 whatever film, and it looks even more terrifying than its original. I'll probably go see it. I won't be happy about it.
It's the first horror movie that I saw that I thought to myself, I actually do want to go see this one. So yeah, no, I don't know what to do. I'm conflicted, as you are, because we notoriously do not like horror movies, the two of us.
I can't. I'm too much of a visual person. It doesn't help me. It doesn't help my life in any way. But fine, I'm going to go see it. I can't be a movie guy and not go see it or Annabelle. I'm going to go see those two horror movies.
You see Annabelle?
I'm done. Done. It's over.
Woo. Good luck. Godspeed. You've been listening to Clutch with Keon Rose on AM 1240 and 92.7 FM. Thank you for joining us today, making us just a small part of your day. You know that I appreciate you. Special thanks to my brother, Kerwin Rose, for joining me on the phone, helping me break down the NBA and Floyd Mayweather and Conor McGregor. Make sure to check out our website. It is noogaradio.com. And remember, folks, it's not how you start, it's how you finish. Stay clutch, and I'll see you in 24 hours.
In-depth traffic, news, and information. Mornings on Nooga Radio, AM 1240 and 92.7 FM.
Essential oils are an overlooked benefit. They're a remedy for allergies, sinuses, headaches, and sleep problems. Aches and pains? Let me help you live a better life. Hi, Loretta Lynn here. It's a free consult. Call me today. Look, I'll even give you a free bottle of essential oil. 423-605-4719. Loretta Lynn's Essential Oils. They've been around for thousands of years. They can even be an alternative to pesticides in your garden. Call today. That's 423-605-4719 and take control of your health.
Hi, this is Eric Pelton. Taxes, accounting, business advice. I've got a neat brochure, 12 ways to improve your business profits. Come on by for a free consultation and we'll give you a copy. E.J. Pelton Company, 332-3339.
Essential oils are an overlooked benefit. They're a remedy for allergies, sinuses, headaches, and sleep problems. Aches and pains? Let me help you live a better life. Hi, Loretta Lynn here. It's a free consult. Call me today. Look, I'll even give you a free bottle of essential oil. 423-605-4719. Loretta Lynn's Essential Oils. They've been around for thousands of years. They can even be an alternative to pesticides in your garden. Call today. That's 423-605-4719 and take control of your health.
This is Thomas DeMoss with Keller Williams Realty. I am a realtor in Chattanooga. We list and sell homes, work with buyers, work with home sellers. I have been involved in real estate for over 10 years. My background is as a real estate investor. That is what I bring to the table, is that real estate investor mindset. My job is to help you sell your house for the most money, employing the best marketing strategy and walking you through what can be a rather stressful process. So we are encouraging people who are on the fence or even thought about selling their house to give us a call. There's no obligation. We're just here to kind of have a conversation, let people know what the process is like, what the market is like, what values they can expect to receive. We work with buyers as well. I also have a buyer's agent that works exclusively with my buyers because we want to give our clients as much attention as we can. My cell phone number is 423-364-0028. Our website is northriverpropertygroup.com. That's northriverpropertygroup.com. We'd love for you guys to call us.
And now to our reporter in the field.
We asked Ray at Ray's Plumbing what's important for homeowners to know.
Some field line systems can cost upwards of $10,000. The bottom line is to save yourself money down the road. I would definitely recommend everybody with a septic that is not on county or city sewer to have an inspection done by a qualified professional. It'd be great if nobody did inspections on them for all plumbing companies. That's what we do to make a living. Not to scare anyone, but it should be in the back of your mind. The danger is the field lines failing and costing thousands upon thousands of dollars and tearing your yard up. By preventative maintenance, you're saving yourself a large headache that may displace yourself and your family. That happens more often than you think. The waste is designed to stay in the tank, and that waste will build up over time. Even with treatment, we have to help that waste break down. Ultimately, preventative maintenance is the key that will keep you from spending $5,000 to $10,000 on replacing your septic system. The bottom line is to save yourself money down the road.
Call Ray at Ray's Plumbing, 421-6341, 421-6341.
My name is Trevor Atchley. I'm an attorney here with the law firm McCoon, Williams, Atchley, and Stanley. We have a show on Nooga Radio called Legal Bites, where we discuss legal topics of interest to our listeners: estate planning, business formation, and business transactions. Legal Bites, 11 a.m. on Wednesday.
Essential oils are an overlooked benefit. They're a remedy for allergies, sinuses, headaches, and sleep problems. Aches and pains? Let me help you live a better life. Hi, Loretta Lynn here. It's a free consult. Call me today. Look, I'll even give you a free bottle of essential oil. 423-605-4719. Loretta Lynn's Essential Oils. They've been around for thousands of years. They can even be an alternative to pesticides in your garden. Call today. That's 423-605-4719 and take control of your health.
well.
Hi, this is Nadia behind the green door. You've had ice cream and you've had shaved ice, but have you had snow cream? It is amazing. It's light, airy, fruity snowflakes melting on your tongue. You need to come and see us. Highway 58, green door next to Hardee's.
Does your business have enough clients? Are you confused about how to stand out in today's saturated social media market? Do you feel lost trying to navigate the maze of marketing channels which are necessary in today's marketplace? Are you fed up with spending your time and money on employees who don't perform and marketing strategies that don't produce? Then you need Cindy's Choice. Cindy will solve your marketing problems with their innovative shared marketing management concept that will allow your business to have the benefits of a full-time employee that is actually out building relationships in the community on behalf of your brand. Cindy's low monthly rate includes advertising, employee management, public relations, and creative marketing strategies that produce. Cindy can bring this all to you at a rate lower than most advertising campaigns and for much less than the cost of hiring a marketing employee. Cindy's Choice is your trusted source, and Cindy will manage it all for you.
Hi, I'm Cindy. I focus on the prospects so you can focus on the projects. Call me at 423-661-4445. That's 423-661-4445. So you can become Cindy's Choice.
Nooga Radio, AM 1240 and 92.7 FM knows your opinion is important. So call 800-8949. Agree or disagree. Call 423-800-8949. 800-8949. Nooga Radio, AM 1240, 92.7 FM, and 95.3 HD4. News, talk, sports. Nooga Radio.
Charge! Get back there, you dang Yankee! Great horny toads, I'm up north. Gotta burn my boots, they touched Yankee soil. Lay down your arms and step forward, Yankee!
What's the hassle, schmassel?
My orders from General Lee is to hold the Macy-Dixie line, and no Yankees are crossing it.
The Tennessee Valley's news, talk, and sports leader. Nooga Radio, AM 1240 and 92.7 FM. Chattanooga Radio, AM 1240 and 92.7 FM's news.
WPLZ HD4 Ottawa, W224AZ Chattanooga, WSDT Saudi Daisy Chattanooga.
CBS News, I'm Pam Coulter. Critics called his language reckless, but President Trump today doubled down on his pledge to unleash fire and fury on North Korea if Pyongyang continues to threaten the U.S.
Frankly, the people that were questioning that statement, was it too tough? Maybe it wasn't tough enough.